Okay, hi, ladies. Hey, we're back. Mom
Hello.
proof. The art of being comfortable with being uncomfortable.
I was going to chime in. I thought you were
It's a lot. No, it's the art of being comfortable with the uncomfortable.
There it is.
Do you think I could get it right? Maybe. I mean, it's a lot of words, but the gist of it is
we know why those words are up there.
Yeah. We started this because we want our kids to understand that being uncomfortable is okay. It happens. You can't be happy all the time.
Nope.
You may not have your life's purpose yet, but you know that getting past the uncomfortable, at some point you get to find joy, feel joy. And then we got to help them to tap into that. Hence, tune into life.
I like your t-shirt.
I love the tune into life.
And on the back, it's so creative. It says tune into life. It just says tune into life.
Shoot. Okay. Well, we can talk about it. Tuning into life. Kathleen, you started that some years ago, right before COVID, unfortunately. But you got kids talking.
We did.
And the process of that. And I think that was really cool.
And I appreciated you being on the board. It was a
good idea.
We had very interesting people on it. Sandra, I must say, though, that you're probably the most tuned into life person I know at this point.
Oh, thank you.
Is there a trophy?
Yeah. Did I get a trophy?
It's not just participating either. You are doing it.
No.
Let's talk about that.
How she is, being able to do a lot of really creative things with her son as she parents. And it's about helping them find happiness. What's their purpose and joys and what are they satisfied by?
Right.
Early in life. So we kind of take
teenagers find their space of being happy. Yeah. And what does that mean? So what does happy mean to teenagers and or us in general?
Do we even know what happiness means?
No, I don't think that we know, and I don't think they know.
Mm-mm.
I think it changes too.
Yeah.
It's a process, right? And you mentioned this earlier about happiness is not just pleasure.
No.
That's important.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
And that was from that Dr. Moore. He's out of Harvard, but he said that it was more about satisfaction. So if you're doing things like, and I thought this was a good example. So no, I'm not calling any student out, but if you don't study for a test and just copy all the answers for the review, and then you go in and you're able to apply that to the test, and you have no concept, you're just writing answers, but you got through it, made even an A or B, that is so miserable because you're not learning satisfaction. There's no work going, there's no correlation. Yeah. So I love when we can point out hey, you did effort and it paid off. What does that feel like?
Yeah.
Right.
That's the pleasure, right? No, that's the satisfaction.
That's the satisfaction, not the pleasure.
Not the pleasure. Pleasure's too fleeting.
So what about some of these kids and athletes, these teenagers that say, or let's say you have one that wants to try out for a team and they say, I'm not good enough. I'm not good. I'm just not happy. I don't want to try out. I'm not good. You get kids that are in that
the inner critic.
Yeah.
What do you do? I know that we've talked about this. You and I talk about this a lot, with our kids. What have you done to help people in your life with that inner critic? Because that can eat
inner
them.
critic.
Inner critic, dude.
Ooh, I don't like that guy.
First thing is to name that guy or girl.
Really?
Give it a name so y'all can be on the level ground.
No kidding.
Mm-hmm. That's an old trick of if you're therapy treatment.
I mean, I battle with that till this day. It's one of my biggest things, and I could be having a really great day and really proud of myself that I did something, and all of a sudden the voice comes in and starts to put me down. And
Will you be vulnerable enough to tell us what it might say? Sorry.
It just let's say that I did something really well at work, and then and somebody recognized it, and then I'm feeling really good about it, and then all of a sudden I'll start listening to my inner voices. That was just luck. You don't really know what
voice.
You don't really know what you're doing. They're gonna find out, and it's just this whole
you're an imposter.
Yeah, a lot of big time imposter syndrome about a lot of things, and but then I've learned that the moment that something pops up like that, then I've been trying to catch it right away when it starts happening, and then I just try to redirect my thoughts.
Perfect.
And say, well, I did this to get to this, but I've also started to write down the steps that I've taken to do what I've done and say, well, I did do the work and this is how I came up with this, or this is how I came up with this conclusion.
But is that taking energy from you that you don't even need to exude by doing a plan of something you already did?
Well, no, because it's just like little.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that
It's
was a
just
lot.
kind of like bullets. It's just like scribbling.
That's a counseling question, literally, okay? Just so y'all know.
But it's like not really detailing. It's like scribbling a couple words down, right?
Okay,
and it's
so
just
not
like
huge time
because
consumption.
basically what's happening is while I'm scribbling, I'm changing,
You're countering it.
I'm
You
countering
are.
it, and then I'm changing.
You're
I'm not
rewriting the
right. I'm not focusing on the thought, on the bad thoughts. I'm actually redirecting my brain to concentrate on something else. And then within a few minutes, it's gone, or I've forgotten about it, and I've just moved on to the next thing. But it gets better every
productive.
time.
Very productive. I love it. What about kiddos? Have you all tried anything with your kiddos to help them when they're in a funk? Because we're adults,
Yeah.
and we're badasses, so we can. Like that's really advanced therapeutic stuff, right? You're catching it, you're applying, you're switching, you're doing all. That's exactly what cognitive behavioral counseling is. But how do we? Because we're doing it with ourselves all the time. I know. How do we teach that without being too teachy, too counselor to your own stupid kid? Oh, I did not mean that. No kids are stupid.
Wow.
I did call kids idiots.
Your inner voice. Your inner voice.
That inner critic. What's his name? You know what? That's interesting because in years of therapy,
Yeah.
I think trying to help your kids understand that they don't have to be good at everything. So that doesn't have to be happiness. Sometimes defining happiness is effort. If you put the effort towards something, even if it's towards a test and you make a B or a C or a D, it's actually okay. That effort is satisfaction. And I think that constant communication with your kids and saying, I don't expect you to be an A student. And I know there are some parents out there that do expect their kids to do that, and that's okay. But I just know my kids, so you got to know your kid, right?
Yeah.
Set the expectations.
For sure.
Appropriate.
Hey, living in our community, and I think there's a lot of communities like this, there is a lot of pressure.
A lot of pressure.
Coming from the yoo-hoo, guess who?
Yeah.
There's a
The
lot
adults,
of pressure.
including the parents. The parents and the
It's okay to have high expectations
educational system. Sorry, I almost tangented.
as long as the kids' health equity is in check. Like, are they feeling okay about themselves? Are we talking to them about those feelings?
Remember the check-in card we were trying to get implemented?
Yeah. And
Hey,
you don't have to feel great every day.
You don't have to feel great every day.
No. And you
Do
know
y'all
what?
feel great every day?
No.
I
No,
don't.
Brene Brown actually has a really good exercise for relationships. She and her husband had just recently gone through a tough time in caring for elderly parents, which we know we have a lot of friends that are having to deal with that. And she said when she came home from work, she would say to him, "You know what? I'm only about 40% today. Like I just don't have it.
Yeah.
I
love that.
And some days we're 90%.
Yeah.
And I have done that a couple times. And even with my kids have said, I'm just having a bad day. Like I'm honest with them. I've had a shitty morning. That's
so true.
And how often are we
it like that tank? I like that. So
right?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Where are you with that? So I think that was a very
That's a reminder.
That's a good thing, a good tip for parents to do that with their kids and be real.
And I think a lot of people suffer with how do you so if you're not telling your kid, kind of putting pressure on them, like, well, you got to get these types
you
of
mean
grades.
motivating them?
Motivating, right.
know, though.
Yeah, but I saw this show the other day on Netflix and I with Tim Tebow.
Yeah.
And
him.
it's called
when he was
it was a
becoming
football.
and he was being recruited. It's his life.
It's not about him, it's about the coach, and it was
It was about the coach.
the swamp, King of the Swamp.
So good.
And one of the
about
things
Florida Gators, if anyone wants to
Right.
watch it.
my biggest takeaway was when they were interviewing him, like he had complications being born and blah, blah, blah. But his parents would tell him, you're meant for greatness. And I was like, that's amazing because you're not telling him what he's going to be great at, but you're just telling him
They
you're
watered
meant.
him like a flower.
Yes. And so then I was like, I love that because it was general enough that he could figure out what it was on his own. But it wasn't like tying him into one thing, right?
I'm literally starting that as soon as I get home. Even though I watched that whole show, to think about it just in like, why aren't I using that? Like that's
Well,
beautiful.
that goes back to telling your kids that they are, and not overdoing it, not telling them they're fantastic, but just telling them they have incredible qualities. They're going to be great people. So let yourself be.
Yes.
You know, and we have to do that for
to tune
ourselves
into
too, to look in the mirror and say, you know what, I am great.
So
I'm freaking great.
I tried
Stick it
telling
out.
my son, hey, you're meant for greatness. I was getting out of the car one day and he turned around and looked at me and said, that was weird.
Oh yeah, I got to be
I'm
careful.
gonna
too.
try it with my 16-year-old.
Okay.
Let's see what we get because
Okay,
that's
we won't. Okay,
the
let's
mouth
see.
of babes. That's
All right,
so
let's
funny.
see. Yeah.
You try it with your 23-year-old.
I do tell them that.
But it's tough because, you know, there are kids that
doesn't
are
believe
really great at sports. And then you have other kids that are just playing because they want to play, because they enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
And I see this, you know, because I have a child that's playing sports. And then, you know, he's not the best, but he goes out there and he's having a good time with it.
I love
right?
that. Yeah.
And so at the end, the coach kind of gets together with them and he always gives one child the ball, the game ball, as a prize because they did the best. But it could be they did the best because they hustled the most, because they really put on all their effort
teammate
in.
or whatever. Yes.
Right. It wasn't because you hit the home run. It was like
Nice.
different reasons.
You're getting
why.
that positive coaching psychology that Scott Cronk offers at LTYA. I love it.
Yes.
All parents are,
Yeah.
you have to take that
No,
before
I
they coach.
was really
That's good.
actually I was
Yeah.
impressed by the way they do that,
that's
because
really
it was
cool.
very empowering for all the kids.
Did he get a ball? Yeah, I bet.
Not yet, but they rotate.
But he will.
But none of the kids walk away
deserves
like
it.
Asked him for greatness.
yeah, right? But none of the kids walk away like, man, like, you know, everybody kind of like
It feels good.
It feels good, yeah.
Validated something besides physical performance or academic test score. Dude, you know how much pressure is on our kids to actually rise up to. Garen got this Texas Tech catalog. He went to like a college breakout thing the other day at school, and he came home and he's like, you know, look, and you know, we're looking at it like where he would fall in for automatic admission. People, this has gotten hard for kids, and if you don't take an SAT, which maybe some kids don't want to, then you know you may not get into the college of your choice. And there's a college for everybody. But these kids are
Say
programmed.
that again.
There's a college for everybody.
Parents. Hey, parents out there of seniors, there's a college for everybody.
Everybody.
I know you don't think
Then our
that, neither
society-
does your kid.
That's it. And
Right?
so
They
that
don't right now.
happiness, they need to know they're just, I was just like, shut the damn manual, dude. There's Texas State. I'm so excited to start these college visits, right? Like we're doing that again, which is kind of fun.
Good for you.
So that's a perfect point. Yeah, good for me. Don't rely on just, you know, the test score for the happiness. That was my point.
Well, you know, I don't believe in the STAR test. And
No,
so that's a whole nother thing. But parents, and here we are, you know, we started this because our teenagers were going wacky at the end of their senior year.
Yeah.
I mean, they're totally fine now.
They are.
You know, totally
Ish.
fine.
Ish.
Totally fine. Their happiness is getting redefined as college freshmen,
Boom,
and
nailed
and those that didn't go to college are figuring life out. I like seeing and hearing about what their friends are doing, that they're figuring stuff out. And you know what? It's not easy. It's not easy. So parents, this is when you got to stay connected, because I'm just going to say it.
Good one.
Really, teen suicide is
I mean, come on, that was the main reason, really, that the whole
tune into life, staying bothered, all of it started because we were concerned about teen suicide, and we're still concerned about it.
are.
So to make sure that parents really, if we can help in any way, have the tools to be able to talk to their teenagers about it. And their teenagers have that toolkit. We're going to go back to that.
We've got the toolkit. We also have the point that you said, which is just communication. It sounds so easy, but we all know it isn't.
Yeah.
And actually, to really get in there with them, you have to do more than text, because you will lose. And I know you are, because I mean, well, all of us, we're doing phone calls too with our people that are gone. But I mean, at college. But the texting is a great way to communicate. So if that's all you have, at least you're communicating.
Yeah.
And so anyway, I want to remind parents that like texting still works, because there's a lot of good stuff going on between my 16-year-old and I in those texts. A lot of love yous,
you get
or
a lot,
hearts. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know if fifth grade you're still getting a lot of that conversation. You know, ours is shifting to a different method. But I love staying in there, like Jamie just said. Don't disconnect just because he's pushing me away, and that voice of the mother is tuning in his genetics.
Oh God, I don't like
Remember
that.
from last episode, y'all.
Yeah.
I like that.
didn't come
Now
up
I
with a name
sound
yet,
like
but
a
I will.
shrieking Yes. But I get it. I'm sure they thought that about me.
I know.
It's okay. Sorry, kids.
And
Love you.
part of their tuning in, I think, is also like, I think our kids that are in college right now, they're tuning into reality of life, which is like, I don't know.
Running
I
out
go
of
back
money.
to budgeting, exactly, finances, and
Car issues, maybe.
yeah, just you know that I didn't advise that I wanted to come home early enough, and you know, like scheduling and all of these things, and it's like they're tuning into the reality and kind of trying to handle everything. I think it could be a tough time for them at the beginning because they're like not used to it, right?
So
They're trying to figure it out.
Have you felt like anybody feel like their kid has been asking for help but then receiving the feedback well? Like I'm feeling like we're getting questions or we're having to say no about this or there's some negotiating. But it's been kind of nice because there's been a reality check. And I think that she's been able to be like, oh, shit, I can't even argue that. Yeah. You know, like about her coming home this weekend.
We've had like several conversations about money.
Oh.
And, you know, but the last thing she said to me was like, which I thought this was interesting. She goes, I'm figuring it out. Right now, I'm trying to figure out how to stay on a budget. And then she said, I'm not the only one. She goes, everybody here is talking about it.
That's
right.
good.
So they're all having a discussion. And she goes,
they're all entitled little toots.
Yeah. She goes,
my big
that's right.
She said, we've never had to deal with this, but we're figuring it out. And I like that. She's like, we're figuring it out. And I was like, good for you.
Yeah.
That's great.
I'm loving the texts that say, call me.
Oh God. What
right
does that
now.
mean?
Okay, is it an emergency? No, I'm walking to class. Like, I have a minute. Call me. Okay, like, I'm not doing anything. Okay.
The phone works both ways.
Yeah.
One dial.
But it's the adjustment.
Yeah.
And I thought weekends would get a little calmer. But I don't know about y'all, but I get these great FaceTimes from my daughter while she's out with her friends. It's wonderful. I love it.
I feel like I need to ask for some FaceTime.
Oh, no. Let me build on that.
Because
the FaceTime might be after midnight.
Oh.
It's really cute. It's kind of like in that drink and dial like we used to do. But I'll take whatever I can get. Don't stop. Call me.
Oh, hey, take notes. Any teenager.
But seriously, you adjust to a different kind of communication too. Yeah. They're adulting. They're learning.
Yeah.
It's different conversations.
We're mom-proofing.
We are. I feel pretty mom-proof.
I'm getting there.
And as they've evolved to this new level, do you feel like you have to tune into them on a different level yourself? Like what you're, because you know, they would call and I don't know about you, but my daughter's like, what have you been up to? You know, she asked me that. And I'm like, okay, well, I feel like I have to be more adult with her. And like,
well, I'm balancing the budget for the next 6 months. We're not going to have any money because you're sucking it all dry.
So I just feel like our conversations have changed. Like, you know, the stuff I'm telling her.
Talking to a friend, right?
It's adulting.
It is. I can't wait to see her tomorrow, people.
It's going to be awesome.
When is your next visit? Parents weekend, which is the next following weekend, right?
No, it's October 20-something.
I thought you were on the same one. Okay, mine's at the end of the month. When is
yours? Same
as the end of the month?
Yes. So parent weekend. I know. It'll be interesting.
I know.
And then how do you do parent weekend with exes? That's a whole other.
Oh, no. Is that going to happen?
I don't know.
Not for me.
Oh, thank gosh.
We shall see.
Oof. Sorry,
we'll stick to parenting, but not easy when you have to deal with exes, when your exes live in Texas.
We have to move this for the next
one.
There was a leaf. If you can't see me, there's a plastic plant connecting with my head.
I love the background. So I think that just the most important thing is to keep sharing tips on what we've learned.
Let's do that.
And look, again, we've all had a lot of really interesting experiences, talked to a lot of experts. We appreciate having you here.
Well, there's beyond me, we all know there's like a lot of good information.
And we're going to start bringing in
Yes, we're going to have some guest speakers.
Yes,
that would be so fun.
I'm excited about that.
That'll be a lot of fun. And maybe even some young people.
I was going to say,
how we go with that.
We should go with that.
Yeah.
It didn't happen in 2020. We had this thing ready to launch, so we're ready in 2023.
Yes, this is a great year.
It's not that, I know, that's a good number, right?
Yeah.
Threes?
I think so.
Let's look up the number of 3. What kind of,
no,
let's not do that.
Chinese horoscope and Chinese astrology says 3s are not that good.
Oh,
but that's okay. It's 23. Let's add it all up. So anyway, we need a question.
Yeah.
For
What are we going to dress up for Halloween? It's too early for that one.
Oh.
No, everybody, all the Halloween stuff
That's
is
what
out.
made me think of it on our drive
Okay,
over
that's
here.
good.
Okay.
That's good.
Okay.
What are you going to be?
I know you were going to say that. I just
Okay.
threw it out there. I'm not
Okay,
ready.
what would you be if you didn't have to worry about what other people thought?
Okay.
Ooh, that's a
on
good
Halloween
one.
or
On
in
Halloween.
life?
Oh, let's just stick
Okay,
with Halloween for now.
Or in general.
You can't be a stripper.
Shucks. Okay.
Okay, what would you be if you didn't worry about what anybody
I
else
like
thought?
the Harley Quinn look,
Yeah.
because she's sexy and naughty and tough. And, I want to look like that girl anyway. But just if I didn't, I still want to dress like her. So I think I'm going to go with Harley Quinn.
Okay.
Ish.
Yeah,
Edgy,
I like it. I
weird,
like it.
clown. I don't know
Okay,
what it is.
okay.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
edgy. It's sexy,
Yeah.
though.
Yeah, true. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I like her.
What
do you think,
She's
Sandra?
powerful.
Yeah.
I think I would do like one of those boxing babes. I just want to.
I think I'll do a box.
Because you got
She's
the
all got the
comfortable
robe on.
shoes.
Yeah, the robe. You can have the thing. The glove.
Yeah.
I
You were
like
cute.
it.
I do like
Okay.
it. I do like it. I like to see your moves.
Gosh,
What about you, James?
I'm thinking. I think I'd want to be a priest.
What?
Just for Halloween.
Not even a nun?
No.
You wanna be the
I want to be a priest.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's so bizarre.
I know it is. I don't even know why I think that. I don't know. I'm in for shock value sometimes.
yeah, right there.
I know.
Just my Catholic, even though I don't practice.
Oh
religion,
no,
it
we're not
rattled me
talking
right
religion.
there.
I'll just wear a collar. But
It's
anyway,
very, very cool. Actually, it makes
good.
me think of the Nun movie, which is out. There's a Nun 2. Does anybody like scary movies besides me?
No, I don't.
Shit.
No.
Karen, you have to go with me.
Okay.
But he's busy.
All teenagers are busy. So what are we going to do? Take time to communicate.
Yeah.
Make sure we're checking in with them. Make sure they're getting enough sleep.
Oh, the sleep thing.
Take a minute to ask the questions
Yes.
on how they're let's end with one really good question. We did our question to ask your teenager. Like you've got a senior in
on
high
the,
school.
Oh, on the okay. So they're
or a junior or a senior. Yeah. So when they get in the car, you don't want to say, how
Yeah.
are you doing? What is it you say? Not how's
It's
your day
probably
or
pretty
what?
cliche. I know sometimes I've said, "How'd your day go?" And
Yeah.
when he answers flatly, then I say something like, "Oh, did you hear?" And I try to do the connecting conversation.
Okay.
And then there's quiet. But I think it's just, "How'd your day go?" If he's flat, I get to put in another question, which could also be like, "Well, tell me something that made you pissed off."
Yeah.
And he might say, "You asking me these questions."
Yeah.
And then we're
right?
on to something.
Okay,
We're on to
and then you're good. Okay, I say we wrap with that.
Yeah.
That's good. So until next time.
Bye.
Ciao.
Adios.